One. 96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning. Time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. And we got a lot of very interesting things to talk about, don't we, Pep?
Man, what a time to be alive right now this week. What a great week of sports. We'll get to some NFL. We'll get to some college football. But really, the big news yesterday was baseball news for the Angels. They have found their new manager. It'll be 71-year-old Ron Washington. If the name rings a bell, he's a longtime baseball guy, player, coach. Led the Texas Rangers as a manager to 2 World Series appearances. He's been with the Atlanta Braves as an assistant the last couple of years. But he's going to take over the Angels. And Patrick, he is the guy that's supposed to fix it, right? Assuming they get Shohei Ohtani back, which we don't even know. Keep Mike Trout healthy and try to get him to the playoffs while he's still in his prime. There's a lot on Ron Washington's plate right now with the Halos.
There is. And Ron Washington has been through a lot, but he is a real coach, a nuts and bolts coach, and he's been very successful. His players love him. I think for the Angels, this is a great move.
Yeah, he'll be the oldest manager in baseball now that Dusty Baker, the Riverside native, has officially retired from the Houston Astros. So Ron Washington will be the oldest manager in all of baseball, but he still might be the right guy to fix this, because you're right, he is a nuts and bolts, real hardcore baseball guy, like attention to the details. He's very big on defense and playing it the right way. So maybe that's what the Angels need. They've tried Joe Madden. They've tried all these different guys. I thought Madden for sure was going to make it work. He didn't. So maybe Washington is the guy.
Madden's bringing in magicians and all that stuff, crazy Joe Madden. But I mean, even interestingly enough, speaking of, he does it the right way. He knows about the fundamentals. I mean, even my 12-year-old, his coach has him watching Ron Washington YouTube clips about how to field the ball and do it properly and doing his exercises. I know he's an older dude, but baseball's about tradition. I think we know that for sure. I like this move for the Angels.
Yeah, you know what? Baseball experts, they all like this move. So is he the right guy to fix the Angels? I don't know. That seems like a mountain to climb right now, because I don't know, what the answer is. If Madden couldn't do it and then Phil Nevin couldn't do it, I don't know. We're going to find out. But if there's a guy out there that could probably fix the Angels and make them relevant again and a playoff contender, it's probably Ron Washington. But really the biggest question mark is, they got their manager, but is Shohei Ohtani coming back? And this is going to be a long offseason until we find out.
If he could convince him to stay, man, I think he's thinking, I got some talent here, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's probably, they do. And they've got some good young players, too. Yes. You keep Ohtani. If Mike Trout can stay healthy, you've got some good young players. Again, if you can get some pitching, I feel like a broken record at this point, but if you can get some pitching, like I've said the last couple of years, they should be able to compete. Although the American League West is probably the best in baseball right now, they should compete.
If you can survive the AL West, you could win it all.
You really could, man. Look at the Texas Rangers. You really could.
And the Astros before that.
Yeah, and the Astros before that, man. The AL West is brutal. All right, some baseball. Let's talk some NBA as well. Last night, the Lakers took on the Houston Rockets, who are actually pretty good again. I don't know when this happened, but the Rockets are good again. And they got this guy, Dylan Brooks. And Dylan Brooks was a nuisance with the Memphis Grizzlies last year and told LeBron he was old and he was going to lock him up, and then LeBron went off on him. Well, last night, he actually held LeBron to only 18 points, and the Rockets won.
Yeah, and there was actually a little moment where Dylan Brooks and LeBron were looking at each other like, we're gonna lock horns this year on it. It was kind of a really funny moment. But yeah, blew the Lakers out, blew them off the court.
Yeah, 128-94. I was surprised. I was not surprised that Dylan Brooks held LeBron to 18, but the way the Rockets won by, by over 30 points?
Yeah.
When did Houston was the worst team in the NBA a year or two ago, so.
Yeah, they're free of all that Harden stuff. Harden's moved on and ruined a couple other teams. Now he's trying to ruin the Clippers. Hey-oh.
Well, the Clippers played at Harden's former team, Brooklyn, last night, and the Clippers lost. So I'm just saying, just put it out there, so.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's talk some NFL. Let's talk some football. We'll start with the college football, get to the NFL in a moment. But the big news in college football, and it might come down later today, is University of Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh might be punished by the Big Ten Conference because, Patrick, one of his assistants, whether he knew or not, but one of his assistants was out there stealing signs of Michigan opponents. And now it's coming back to Harbaugh. So will he be suspended? Will he be fined? It looks like Michigan, the school, is in Harbaugh's corner. So whatever happens, Michigan's prepared to fight it against the Big Ten.
It's too bad because Michigan really is a great team, and they got that great quarterback, which you really need. I could see them going really far. But, I mean, I think the problem is, and we talked a little bit about this, it's amazing how much sign stealing you can do and how much you can get away with and you can share with other coaches. But Michigan, of course, takes it to the next level of having this guy dressed in the opposing gear of, say, like Colorado State or whoever, and on the sideline and stealing it. It is kind of wild. Now they're reviewing the tape, and they're like, hey, he's at this game. He's at this game. He's at this game. I think even the NCAA, which may not even last for the next few years, doesn't know what to do here.
Yeah.
I think they're going to probably suspend Jim Harbaugh, but I think Michigan is so freaking good, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, they could keep rolling. I mean, if it's a one-game suspension and they're playing, I don't know, Maryland, then, no big deal. But if it's like 3 games, 5 games, and they got Penn State coming up, of course, Ohio State at the end of the regular season. So there's some big, meaningful games in terms of the Big Ten title, the college football playoff. So it could have a huge effect. And Patrick, you brought up a great point before we went on the air. It's kind of like the Houston Astros. In baseball, sign stealing happens all the time, but they took it over the top. I mean, they were egregious with it. And I think that's where Michigan is being caught. It's like, dude, you had an assistant on the sidelines at a bunch of different games like that. Dude, that's too much. That is just too much.
We need a documentary about this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very fishy. But I bring it up because the punishment could come down today, and it could have big effects on the college football landscape. Like I said, college Big Ten title, college football playoff, all those things could be affected by what happens to Jim Harbaugh right now.
Very Astros, very Patriots, very Spygate.
Yes, very all those things. Yeah, all those things. And some NFL news, and we're going to talk NFL quarterbacks. So there's an NFL record. I don't know if you heard this, Patrick, but an NFL record was set yesterday. I guess it'll be officially set this weekend. But Tommy DeVito, who I had never heard of, will start for the New York Giants this weekend against the Dallas Cowboys. And this will be the 10th rookie quarterback to start this year in the NFL. And that is a new NFL record. More rookies have started this year in the NFL than any previous season.
Yeah, man, it is wild. It is QB Central this year. There's a lot of QB things moving around, man, and that's just one of them.
Yeah, and I think really when you talk at least about rookie quarterbacks, the best of the bunch is our guy, C.J. Stroud, the pride of Rancho Cucamonga, the starting QB for the Houston Texans. He's head and shoulders better than all the other rookies. He is the guy, but there's just been a lot of rookies, period, starting this year.
You're right, man. C.J. Stroud deserves credit. I will never forget coming up in the preseason when he scored low on the test. And finally, after all these questions, the press said, listen, do you want a good test taker or do you want a football player? And he looks like he was right.
Yeah, he took receipts, and he's proven everybody wrong because he is the best quarterback amongst the rookies this season. He's putting up crazy numbers.
He is putting up crazy numbers, man.
Yeah. And Patrick, one more quarterback note. We talked last week about the Rams needing a solid backup quarterback, and what are they going to do? Stetson Bennett is MIA. Stafford is hurt. Well, they went out and got old Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is coming in. Is he going to be prepared to start this weekend? We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, they signed Carson Wentz.
And, of course, everyone is going bananas over this. I like this move, and I'll tell you why. We know McVay can coach. Look what McVay did with Baker Mayfield last year.
Yeah.
I think he's got an even more talented quarterback now. This could be a great move.
It could be, but I've said that before with Carson Wentz going to other places. Like, oh, what a good move! Like he's going to step in there, and they're not going to skip a beat. And he hasn't lived up to what he was with the Philadelphia Eagles when he was an NFL MVP caliber QB. Right. So we'll find out. But I thought that was a smart move. I forgot he was even available out there until I saw the Rams sign Carson Wentz.
We basically thought he was done.
Yeah.
But I think even I forgot. He basically got the Eagles all the way to the Super Bowl. Yes, Nick Foles is the one who did it, but it was hard to remember that when he's had so much trouble. I think with McVay, this could be a magical connection, man.
Yeah.
Especially because everyone's like, he won't be able to do well. That's the perfect position the Rams want to be in right now.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, that year that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, Wentz got hurt against the Rams, and that's when Nick Foles came in to lead them the rest of the way. But he was great. We'll see if he can kind of rekindle some of that magic with the Rams.
So we get to see what happens, Pep. We get to catch up on Monday. There's a lot that's going to happen over the weekend with all kinds of sports. That's why we have our guy, Pep. Tell them how to get your stuff.
It's always going down on Inland Sports, heavy on the Instagram, heavy on the Twitter, a little bit on Facebook. You can always check out the Inland Sports YouTube channel. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.